Mellow greetings, you lovely listeners. You've caught John in a moment of
Oh,
repose.
what are you guys doing here?
Oh, stupid. It's so stupid.
Over here living your pug life.
You
Welcome
guys, go.
to another glorious installment of Disinformed After Dark, which is our glorious video installment, the companion piece to our marvelous podcast, which you can find at our link tree in the description below. So please go check it out. And if you're digging this, as Michael would say,
Smash that like button. Yeah.
it would be subscribe on this platform, but you know,
I guess you can subscribe too.
Time.
After you smash that like button.
There's no like button. I mean, there is the
This
like
is
button.
YouTube.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
Which direction are you? That's Shane.
Smash the like button. Yes.
I'm the one recording, so he's on the bottom.
All bases covered.
So, John, before I should say, it's Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
Yipes. Two of you driving me
Lovecraft.
off.
Okay.
Yeah. How about that episode?
I'm going to say some... Never mind. Nope. I don't know.
Not on this podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, Michael's
we're a family podcast.
Michael's got that Lovecraft beer.
Oh!
Yeah,
Now that we have the visual medium, he's got it.
Oh, the birds are indeed a lie.
That's a pretty snazzy shirt right there. I love it.
Happy birthday, you beautiful bass fisherman.
You.
Yes.
Thank you.
I didn't know you liked bass. I thought you played lead. Music reference.
Ouch.
Oh.
And that's from the guy, the king of the bad pun.
Brock, and I'm Lovecraft. So I have an idea for next week's After Dark.
Scary.
And it's all on the shoulders of whether or not Logan is available.
Ah, okay.
Ooh, okay.
So
I'm intrigued.
We were supposed to do this last week on air, and we both forgot. And I think mainly Logan just didn't speak up
and
to remind
overload.
me.
Yeah.
Because we're having so much fun. There's so many people on. How to approach this? Logan and I found a medium, a psychic, if you will, on Etsy. To be fair, Becky found this person, but Logan and I capitalized on it.
All right.
The psychic offers it was on sale. It was $12 to, based on your name and your age, psychically draw you a mug shot, if you will, of your soulmate. So Logan and I both did that, and I don't know what Logan's looks like, but I have mine, and she also writes you like a little description of what this person will be like personality-wise. So I want to get Logan on next week and utilize the screen share function to show what our significant or our soulmates look like as drawn by a psychic.
So did she happen to draw a large and very curmudgeonly bald man with a beard for you, John?
She actually just drew a picture of a potato.
Oh, I see. Well, that's accurate for me as well.
We found love in a loveless place.
We found love in a Lovecraft place.
We did. So sorry for coming hot there, but if I didn't say it, I wouldn't remember to like push forward and make sure that we get that out there. But I was sitting next to Logan. I was like, spend the freaking $12. Spend the $12. It'll be worth your time.
I feel like no, you didn't. You still got the bulk of the curse out. You just didn't add the ing to it, my friend.
I squeezed the trigger, but only 95%, so it's still okay, right?
Well, what we typically do here, for those of you uninitiated to this platform, is one, we manage to get demonetized every episode, so that Michael is never going to stop delivering pizzas at this point. And while
it's a living.
While unfortunately it's not, it's more of impending doom.
Like a waking nightmare.
A Lovecraftian nightmare, as a matter of stern fact. So we will wait while our files are compressing, which for the record has already happened on my computer due to my blinding speed on Melissa's laptop.
Is it a
I'm
bird?
the
Is it a
lightning.
plane?
It's
I'm
alive.
the Flash.
We will sit and go into Chuck Klosterman's marvelous hypotheticals.
You bought it.
I love the fact that the S is almost like written off, so it just looks like inane.
I think whomever owned this prior to me owning it scribbled the S off. It's the reason it was sold back and I got a used version of this is because, yes, it's questions for inane conversations, according to its previous owner.
It's pretty accurate.
I want to, because I have been just going with, electronic versions that I've had previously, but now I have the joy of being able to share with all of you the actual cards, which are marvelous. But I should feel like, because we've looked at this previously, Klosterman's explanation of these is actually fantastic, and I feel like it's worth getting into at some point. So
okay.
Here they are. This is Chuck Klosterman's introduction to this. Some people are extremely good at making small talk. These people are better known as idiots. These are the kind of humans who can talk to a stranger for 40 minutes without learning anything essential about who that stranger is. They talk about the weather and about other people, and they mention what kind of car they drive and how old their children are, or they walk up to someone who doesn't have a past in a bar, drunk, and talk to them at length. They have a conversation in public that are ultimately no different than silence in an empty room. I refuse to be that kind of person. I refuse to make small talk. I refuse. I don't care what the situation is or what the protocol is supposed to be. I see no value in asking someone a friendly, non-adversarial question if neither party cares what the answer is. Instead, I prefer to ask questions where the solution is irrelevant. I pose hypothetical questions where how one answers the query matters more than the literal conclusion. There is no right answer to these kinds of questions. The end never matters. What matters is how you get to the end. What matters is how you think, not what you think. This deck represents those questions. If these questions seem absurd or boorish or juvenile, that's totally fine. Don't read them and don't answer them. We don't need to be friends. We are not the same. But if you want to find out who other people really are, these are the conversations you need to have, and you need to have them now. Prepare to become more interesting.
I will say that these hypotheticals have made me feel more interesting.
Without
and I would
question.
like to talk over Michael this entire time.
That's well, you're failing right now. I just want to say that he sounded so pretentious at the end. I mean, also at the beginning where he starts saying like, "Oh, someone wants to do small talk, fuck him." Or he already broke it. He already broke it. I don't care. Demonetize. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. We're all gonna die anyway.
I hate to break your heart, Michael, but 20 views per episode. That's like.
Hey, I want to make that 0.02 cents. Okay. All right. I'd like that 0.02 cents. Maybe after like 30 years, we might get a penny.
Thank you to the 17 other people that are subjected to this nonsense. I appreciate you being here.
We love you.
So that you can witness us cyberbully Michael into oblivion.
Hey, if it gets people off, it gets people off.
It's Lovecraft, yeah.
It's my life. It's
you
now
haven't
or
gotten
never.
somebody off in your life. You were saying, please.
You were too real there.
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
I just picture him at a bar, just sitting there drinking beer. Someone comes up, sits down, orders a beer, and they look at him, and there's no one else around to talk to, and there's always conversation. He's like, "So how's the weather?" And Chuck Klosterman, silent, doesn't even acknowledge him. Buddy, can you hear me? How would you feel if you were shown a movie of all your previous failures and your family had to watch them, and he just sits there silent, and the guy's just like, what? That's how I feel like with that whole introduction. That's how he goes out and be social.
Michael,
He just ignores that.
Have you ever been to one of our shows?
Yes,
Have you
I'm
tried to
usually the
talk to
person
me
that's sitting there.
when I'm at the bar?
Yeah, I usually do, and it turns into situations like this. Yes,
As a
I don't know how
manifestation-
Chuck Klosterman looks, but I picture you as him.
Yes. So, I mean, this is my life. I do this
Your
constantly.
kindred.
Yes. So, with that said, this week's hypothetical is one custom made for Mr. Watkins. And the reason I appreciate having the cards now is it adds, since we are in a visual medium, it adds a visual element.
Yeah.
This week's is entitled The Porn Painter.
Oh,
Ooh.
boy.
Gentlemen,
Some people in a lifetime.
submitted for your approval. You need to have the inside of your home painted. A thorough online search of available professional painters indicates that one candidate is especially ideal for your needs. He has earned high approval ratings from past employers and is relatively inexpensive. However, when you contact him by phone, he mentions one strange detail about his work habits. He insists on watching pornography while painting. Don't worry, I don't masturbate to it. It's just for entertainment, he says. But it's the only way I like to paint. This being the case, I will need to use your DVD player to view my personal collection of erotic films while I work. I may also use your cable service to purchase on-demand or pay-per-view pornographic movies, but I will itemize any movies I watch and subtract the cost from your overall bill. Do you employ this pornography enthusiast as your house painter?
What is his rating on Yelp?
I was going to say, this is a high-rated person, or is it like the
Yes.
first person that comes up?
High rated.
Why not?
So he's an amazing painter.
He's an amazing painter.
Like-
He's exactly what you need. By all accounts, everyone raves about his prowess. You just have to endure him watching pornography for the entertainment value.
Shane, do we like this? Like, do the painter and I, do we enjoy the same kind of porn?
I imagine you'll find out if you elect to hire him.
I feel like it would be a more interesting question if it was exactly opposite your fetish. Like if you're in the hands for some reason, it'd be feet or something. Like I would feel like that would be a little more interesting if you really wanted to delve further. That whatever his kink is, it's opposite what you like.
I think the stakes would be higher if the amount that so he's the perfect painter for the job, but his rate is dependent on whether or not you put on the porn he prefers, but he doesn't give you any indicator. So it's like a supermarket sweep kind of thing where like you're trying to put on the right porn to make sure that you don't get charged too much or too less.
Well,
I like that.
You're in the middle.
If we're angling, of course, by what the script is, of course, he's determining everything he's watching. He brings his own material with him, and then he's also charging things to your on-demand in order to get him to the appropriate place. So you are basically a passerby. You are a fly on the wall to his various exploits if you happen to be in the house while he is painting.
And I have to explain that bill to the missus. I got to explain to Becky like why this esoteric, weird, super niche porn is on there.
Do you really need to explain that, John?
I mean, for you, John, no one knows your true level of proclivity.
For anyone that's seen The Irishman, it's just like, so I heard you paint houses. That's all I would say. So I would actually, I would be fine with that because we just this past week, or on the 15th of August, we watched Your Mom's House live stream event.
Okay.
And they hosted that on Location Live. And the reason they hosted it there is because of the lack of censorship. And I saw some purely horrific things. And I was with Becky for all of it. And I feel like if I can make it through those clips that I saw, which most of them were very pornographic in nature, I can handle whatever the house painter has in store for me.
All right. And I mean, by all accounts, everything else is pitch perfect. It's exactly as it should be. So,
He's gonna
uh,
save me the hassle of having to do all this. Like I don't want to take all this stuff off the walls.
no,
Like I don't
no.
want to paint around this.
So, Michael,
As someone that has a child in the house, I still
yes,
would accept his services. Like, it's especially because we don't necessarily, because it wasn't stipulated, we
Hmm.
have to be there. I honestly don't care.
Fair.
I've been to college. I know people's proclivities are just off the
Weird
walls,
flex.
batshit. I like to flex whenever I can, you know. Oh, yeah. I'm wearing an Oregon Duck shirt for no for no reason.
Michael.
I'm just done with today. So it's I mean, this is going to be a reoccurring theme where I'm just dead on the inside and the outside. So, but essentially, like,
hence the porn.
if you really don't like what he's watching, you can leave. It's not that, oh, yes, I will paint your house exactly what you want without you doing anything, without you lifting a finger, except you have to watch with me. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't even part of
Yeah.
the deal.
You're
Like,
not
he just
doing-
puts on background music.
Mhm.
He puts on
It's-
background porn.
Yeah, no one's gonna cockwork orange you here and make you sit and have to watch this nonsense.
Exactly. So, like, you know, I'm not going to judge an artist for how he works. You know, some people like to smoke a blunt before they do their magic. Some people like to watch gratuitous amounts of porn when they paint.
Mhm.
Who am I to judge? If it gets good results, sure.
All
I'll be
right.
the guy that gives 5 stars every time.
Well, it's a 5-star match. I have actually, in many instances in my life, and Mr. Watkins has been present for some of the tales of this nonsense, I have watched a sizable quantity of pornography with other individuals present. So it's been
Yeah,
a
you have.
pastime I've taken part in. I went to parties when I was in high school where they had like the worst, like really poorly made, obviously, and this is, you know, back in 1827 when I was a child. So you can imagine.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
being ageist, because that is the line that we draw on this podcast. Yes,
the
you're right.
talkies alone, you know, the girls in the cans and the woo.
Oh, I bet you fainted during that train scenes in the first movie that came out.
The first time you heard a woman's moan on a porn, I bet you just came buckets.
Wait, sorry, I thought you were a historian. You lived the times. The first movie that was like that was put up was like the Great Western Chase, and involved a train coming out the screen, and people freaked out and screamed because they thought a train was literally coming at them. You didn't know that?
I like how Shane poured gasoline on this fire and he expected to extinguish it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
brings a topic onto the After Dark that is going to make us just eagerly try and lose any traction of any sort.
Oh,
My
naturally.
life is about losing traction. I've been losing traction ever since I was born.
That's why you don't get anybody off, Michael.
Exactly.
So the argument, like, I walked in and I vividly remember there was some guy that was sitting with like a vodka bottle he pulled out of the freezer and he was just like slamming it. And this is one of the first parties I went to as a senior with a bunch of my friends who are musicians, for the debauched and you know, deplorable amongst us. And in
completely.
the front room where the bulk of the people were kind of just walking through, they had really horrible pornography that was obviously shot in like Indonesia. And it was someone was standing with like a flashlight in the corner to hold it up. And this is like bad video cam days. This isn't like, you know, modern iteration where there's an HD camera in every telephone. This was somebody with a really bad old camcorder that's filming this. Nothing was lit. You couldn't hardly see body parts. You're just hearing, you know, the sound of like a boot stuck in mud but wetter. You just, you know, please.
Would
John.
you say it was the Blair Witch of porn?
Close enough. I did see a lot of snot in the course of the making of that one, but so needless to say, I've been present for a lot of really deplorable things where other people in the room. So I would not have any aversion whatsoever if, as long as my significant other was not present for this, because obviously she's going to have a dramatically different take. But I would actually be interested to sit down and watch the individual work and just see what came up in the playlist.
Like
what
see how it motivated him to work in a
is
certain
it
way.
German fetish porn that we're watching? Are people's testes getting nailed to step stools? Like, how deep does the well go? That's what I'm curious about.
But before we get too off topic, I do have something connected to college days.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I actually knew one person who was involved in the backseat, not backseat, the backroom couch.
Yeah,
yes.
same.
I was going to say, the both of you apparently part of that fraternity, but
yes.
And apparently that person or whoever produces that content, they are being come after hard because apparently
they're a scumbag. They did not pay the person.
Well, not even that. There's a
but
percentage of people or of women that were on that site that were not of age.
Oh,
And
I completely believe it.
To come out. It's disgusting.
Oh, it is. But
anyway,
going back to it, I knew this person. One of her best friends and I and a couple of other people actually watched it in one of the libraries at the school that I went to as an undergrad. And the person involved with the porn actually created a drinking game for it that people in the marching band at the university that I would go to actually would celebrate it every year. And just watch it and drink with it. So
every time the ping pong ball fell out, you had to take a shot?
No, there was a particularly awkward line where the person started doing
singing "O Canada"
butt stuff, and he noticed her tan lines because she marched in the band, so marching band, and he's like, "Oh, those are some really awkward, really interesting tan lines," and she went on for about 5 minutes talking about how she was in the band while she was getting railed. Okay. So it's literally one of the drinking things rules was every time you feel awkward, you take a drink.
Oh, okay. And then, when she takes a shot, you take a shot.
Yeah. I realized that I have the visual medium to just show how awkward it was. She's
all right, Michael,
she's a sweetheart.
I got it.
She's a great person, but,
but
yes.
She
came up with the whole thing herself.
She came over the whole thing herself?
No. She came up with the drinking game allegedly all by herself.
Oh, wow. No, it's the oldest profession in the world, Michael. It's the oldest one. She didn't come up with it on her own.
I'm going to be better than Michael for a second,
please.
Here. And I'm going to say that I had an anecdotal story that I was going to share that was about something pornographic and gross, but then I took a second and I was like, should I share that? Probably not. So just remind me, Shane, Michael, after we're done rolling for the show that we're doing right now.
I see you all the way up there on your moral high ground. I can't even barely hear you from how tall you are above me. Are you like Mount Everest up there? Like,
you're so high above him.
I will let you guys know when we were watching that live stream from your mom's house, and again with like some of the most aggressively disgusting things I've seen. One clip came on and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this before, and immediately I was like, I am so messed up as a person that I've already seen this clip that they're using to scar people for life.
Norm Summerton?
So, something in the same ilk, yeah.
Okay, well, since we've managed to make it down here into the gutter, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you joining us for yet another demonetized episode of Disinformed After Dark. It's a lot of fun, and we appreciate you being here. Yao-se Suwu. So,
excuse me? Bless you.
If you enjoyed what you heard here, seek professional help. Talk to a therapist. Don't shoot adult films, whatever you do. But if you're enjoying what you're hearing here, we do have a podcast that is released weekly, just like Michael. And
this is the first time I've seen sunlight in days.
Yes.
That's what he's talking about. You nailed it.
It's your fault, John. It wasn't my week to watch him. So you can find us anywhere disreputable podcasts are released into the wild. Our release date, they don't get released, they escape. And then, of course, you can like and subscribe here. If you dig what we do, please rate and review. Throw some questions at us if you're inclined. And we will see you back here every Friday at 10 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what are we mounting?
Everything.
It's mountain time.
Or as Michael would say, copulate.
It's copulation time.
I believe that you say that.
I definitely do not. Okay. You assume I'm that well spoken.
He admitted. All right, let's kill this thing before it spreads.
Please.
Just like that band member that he knew. For Disinformed After Dark, I am the appropriately named for this installment, Kent Eldorado.
I'm Timothy Lone Cactus. I can't stop.
And I'm
Robert
Greer. I'm
Get him,
Robert
Dad.
Greer.
Peter Greer. Let's copulate, baby.
It's 7:30 on a Monday night. You know what that means? It's copulation time.
That is my official sign off from this point forward. Thanks for being here, everybody. We gotta go. It's copulation time.